Welcome to Family Gamer TV News, where we sift through the week in gaming news and bring you what's relevant to families. So we'll start with the charts, and we've organised them by PEGI rating. Remember, this is not about ability, but suitability. So in PEGI 3, we get a lot of sports titles. For instance, the top 3 this week are FIFA 14, which is second overall in the charts, even though it came out back in September of last year. Will probably continue to be at the top of the charts until FIFA 15 comes out later this year. And then you've got Gran Turismo 6, another sports game. This is a simulation driving game, and NBA 2K14. Going up to PEGI 7, you've got Lego Marvel Superheroes, which is an awesome game across lots of different platforms, so it's obvious to see why that's up at the top. Need for Speed Rivals, another racing game, maybe a bit more mature than Gran Turismo 6. And Disney Infinity, interestingly beating Skylanders again this week. Up in PEGI 12, Dragon Ball Z Battle of Z. So this is a fighting game, possibly why it's in the 12 rating group. A little bit of violence, but no blood and gore or swearing or anything. Naruto Shippuden Storm 3 Full Burst, another fighting game, still quite cartoony, so no blood and anything like that. And then you've got The Sims 3, which came out in 2009, so it's probably the oldest game in the charts. This shows a couple of things. One, The Sims is very, very popular, so it's still going to sell years down the line. Two, in this particular age rating, PEGI 12, not many games come out. People tend to aim their games at the low ratings. You know, there's no swearing, no sex, no blood, no violence, anything like that in it. Or they go for the other end. They make their games really, really mature, aim them at adults. There doesn't seem to be much aimed at that kind of age in the middle. Up to PEGI 16, so getting a bit more mature, you've got Call of Duty Ghosts, which came out in November last year. It's third in the charts overall, so it's still doing really, really well. WWE 2K14, wrestling game, obviously, that's why it's in the PEGI 16 rating, a bit more mature than some of the other fighting games. And Batman Arkham Origins, which is a prequel to Batman Arkham City and Batman Arkham Asylum. Up at the top in the 18 rated games, so this is the highest category, Tomb Raider Definitive Edition. It's a new entry this week. It's top of the charts overall, and it's top of this rating. Interestingly, it sold twice as many on PS4 as on Xbox One. Now that may be because, as we thought, the PS4 version is just better, but it may also be because PlayStation owners are used to having the Tomb Raider games, because it was originally kind of a PlayStation game. You know, she's quite a PlayStation mascot, even though she's been out on other consoles in her history. You've also got Battlefield 4, which is another first-person shooter, a bit like Call of Duty, and Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. Moving on to more general news, Sony is releasing an indie game mega pack for the PlayStation Vita. It's coming to stores this month, so keep an eye out for it. It's going to be in an actual box, although I think you just get a memory card with enough space on it and some codes to download these indie games. There are 10 games in the collection, including things like Thomas Was Alone, which is a personal favourite of mine, Limbo, Superfrog HD, other games like that. The Vita didn't do very well at the beginning of its life, but these indie games have really breathed new life into it, so it's worth checking out this pack and seeing if there's anything in there that you like. In other indie news, Nintendo has released this promotion for the Wii U. If you go on the eShop and you buy one of 5 indie games, you get any of the rest for 60% off. And this also includes if you've already got one of these indie games, you don't have to buy it during the promotion. So these 5 games are Tokitori 2 Plus, Gianna Sisters Twisted Dreams, which I've heard is quite good, Spin the Bottle Bumpy's Party, which is a bit of a funny kind of party game, maybe more for adults than for kids, Mighty Switch Force Hyperdrive Edition, bit of a mouthful, and another one, Bit Trip Presents Runner 2 Future Legend of Rhythm Alien. So if any of those sound up your street, or you've got one already, go and check out the eShop and see if any of the others might interest you, because you'll get them for cheap. In other Nintendo news, Super Smash Bros. Coming out for the Wii U and the 3DS, Nintendo has announced that Lucario, as in the Pokemon, will be coming to the game. Now, he first was in Super Smash Bros. In Brawl on the Wii, but he's quite an important character in Pokemon X and Y on the 3DS, so you can see why Nintendo wanted to keep him around for Super Smash Bros. On the Wii U and 3DS, and that should be out later this year, hopefully. Moving on to Skylanders news specifically, and as Wes said in his Skylanders news video the other day, he's been looking on the Dark Spyro forums, which is where the fans of the Skylanders franchise kind of chat with each other. And one particular user has been phoning up Argos and hassling them on their helpline to get answers about when Wave 3 of Swap Force characters will be coming to stores. And they've told him, apparently, February 14th is the day to go down to your local Argos or other stores to get figurines like Rubble Rouser, Stink Bomb and Spy Rise, which are Wave 3 Swap Force characters. If you think you might want to get those, maybe for a loved one or for your kids, then make sure you go down nice and early. Obviously, Skylanders characters are known to sell out. Moving across to Skylanders' rival Disney Infinity, and there may be some news over there too. So Andy has this Disney Infinity news video in which he discovered that the studio that makes Disney Infinity, Avalanche, have been advertising for QA testers. They're looking for them later this year for, they say, 6 to 8 months. So it seems like it's a big project that they're working on that they need testers for. Could be, though we don't know for sure, Disney Infinity 2. They've listed platforms like the Xbox One, Xbox 360, PS4, PS3, Wii U, but not the Wii, interestingly enough. Now this might be because the Wii version of the original Disney Infinity wasn't quite the same as the others. Maybe they've just given up on the platform altogether, which is a shame for people who only have a Wii console. But if the game is going to be miles better, then it could be that it could only work on the slightly more technical consoles. In other Disney Infinity news, it might be that if there is a new Disney Infinity game coming out, it could be a Marvel one or a Star Wars one. So this is Eurogamer spotted this in the Wall Street Journal. Apparently someone who works for Disney has said they're making a Marvel Disney Infinity and a Star Wars Disney Infinity. Obviously these are brands that Disney bought recently, so Disney owns all of Star Wars and all of Marvel, so they have the right to make these games. I'm particularly interested by the Star Wars one. If you think about the design of the Clone Wars characters, they could fit quite well with a kind of Disney Infinity style game. So you can imagine getting a little Yoda figurine, for instance, which is the one that I would want. Moving over to Minecraft. Minecraft on PS3 is doing very well. Even though it only came out just before Christmas, they've already sold 1 million copies on the PS3, which the team is very happy about. The 360 version, which has been around for much longer, has sold 11 million copies. It'll be interesting to see which one turns out more popular in the end. Probably 360 because it's been around much longer. If people own both consoles, they're unlikely to buy it twice. Interestingly, the 360 version is actually catching up to the PC version, which has sold 14 million copies. There's a stats page on the Minecraft website that shows you in real time how many people have bought the game, how many bought it in the last 24 hours, interesting facts like that. In other Minecraft PC news, there's a new snapshot this week, 14W05B, which introduces, as well as lots of bug fixes, a spectator mode, which means that you can walk around a server, no one can see you apart from other spectators. You can't change things in the world, but you can see players' inventories, and you can also click on mob creatures like spiders and see from their viewpoint. So you can see what the Minecraft world looks like from the point of view of a spider. Obviously, it's quite different from what a human would see. Now, games coming out later this week. We've just got the one on the list for this week, and that is Fable Anniversary, which is coming out on the 360 on Friday the 7th. So this is an HD remake of the original Fable game. It came out in 2004 for the Xbox. So some of you might have already played it, but for those who haven't, maybe played Fable 3, it's a good opportunity to go back and try it. Price-wise, it's looking like it's just under £30, although it's cheaper at different retailers. So if you do want to try it out, it's worth looking around to see where you can get it for cheapest. Obviously, it's not the same price as a premium game, which is nice to see, but it is just a remake, so it might not be worth kind of £40. That's all from us this week. Make sure you subscribe if you want to keep up to date with family gaming news, and check back next week when we'll be back to give you more news on charts, Disney Infinity, Skylanders, Minecraft, upcoming games, things like that. That's all for me from now. I'll see you soon.